Vance Bastian here with my co-host S.A. Baz Collins for this week's Written on the Edge Season 8, Episode 36 Entertainment Review. Baz and I will be giving our thoughts and reviews of Red, White, and Royal Blue, and exploring how it relates to queer life, as well as discussing its strengths and flaws. What'd you think?
First of all, we did a reaction this last Friday with
Oh
Albert
yeah.
and I. Yeah. And it's actually ready for Patreon, so I'll be passing you that file. But uh, we really had a good time with it. We loved the woman who played the press secretary. She like stole
Zara.
the whole, yeah, she stole the whole damn movie. Um,
Hmm.
you know, so yeah, kudos to her. She almost took it from the boys, being the focus of the film, because every time she
Oh
was
yeah.
on, I would just go off the movie for a second and go, I wonder if Jen Psaki is watching this.
So for folks who have been living under a rock, the official blurb is, when the feud between the son of the American president and Britain's prince threatens to drive a wedge in the U.S.-British relations, the two are forced into a staged truce that sparks something deeper. It is based off of a novel written by Casey McQuiston, and they are a queer non-binary author. So the book was recommended to me about a year ago, I think is when I read it. And at the time, nobody knew about it, so I was able to check it out from the library that day. So part of my review will include a comparison between the book and the movie.
And spoiler, Vance told me as a side note about the book.
Um, yes and no. It is a very happy, very light modern fairy tale.
Yeah, I literally
And
did this during the reaction. It's a fairy tale. Albert loved that.
um and so I didn't believe it. I think that's a better assessment. Is I didn't believe it when I read it. I didn't believe it could even happen. It was definitely 100% pure fiction and kind of dreamland. Um,
But it's a story that
does
I
that
think we deserve. I mean, we
we do
don't have
100.
those. Yeah.
I
Yeah. No,
didn't
no, no.
say
I'm just
that.
saying, I'm agreeing with you. Yeah.
The Zara character in the novel is even more fierce and more phenomenal, by the way. And there is another character in the novel that didn't even get an honorable mention in the film, and that would be the president's daughter, June,
Yeah. They said that they combined that character with
with Nora.
Nora, and they kind of like compressed them into
Right,
one character for the film, which I'm like, why do
right.
people do that? I don't get it. Is it just trying to keep the budget
Time.
down? I don't know.
Probably that and time. June was a remarkably complex character, and she was far more emotionally intelligent than her brother. In the novel, the president's son is intellectually wickedly intelligent, but not very emotionally intelligent. So his sister and Nora often had to stabilize him, and they were his grounding force. And that comes out so much more in the novel than it did in the film. I mean, Nora had a couple of appearances and that was it. The three of them in the novel actually grew up together as sort of casualties of their parents' political careers. And so they've been friends since toddlerhood. And in the novel, that friendship is way more powerful than I think what you saw on the screen between the two.
Alex and yeah.
Yeah, Alex and Nora. Um, Also, the other thing about the novel that I truly loved that I think enriched the characters of the novel more was the back and forth between the boys over text and email.
Now I did
Because
love how that was represented in the
it
film.
was what it was
It was
represented well in the film.
it was really clever the way they worked that.
Yep. It's just there wasn't enough of it to truly get to understand the characters' motivations, I thought. It was just sort of surface. And again, I know time constraints, 2 hour film. I think it was 2 hours and 1 minute.
Yeah, which is
Um,
really kind of amazing. They gave us 2 hours and 1 minute to tell that story.
mhm, mhm. What you? Anything you noticed?
Yeah, I loved. I thought definitely the Bucks were thrown at it. They went all out. They recreated the Oval Office. They didn't put it in some bedroom within the White House that nobody's ever seen. It was so it's like, you got to see the action of it. The only thing I that kept me going, what is she doing? Uma Thurman's accent. Why was she chewing some of her words? I'm like, girl, do you have some gum in your mouth? What the hell? That isn't hers. I share with the prince. Girl, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then why does she is the only one who has that accent and nobody else does? Were you watching Tallulah Bankhead while drunk and that's how you learned to talk? I'm like, I don't understand what she was doing with that. I really don't. I know a lot of Texans. None of them talk like that. None of them.
Right.
Like,
And the thing is, as a politician, I could see if she was trying to reach her base by on camera heightening a Texan accent. But even behind the scenes and off camera, she wouldn't have sounded like that.
yeah,
So yeah,
it's
I was
not
the
a
same way. I
Texan
was like,
accent. Yeah. Girl, study Ann Richards if you want a fucking Texan accent. Okay, there was
well,
your character.
no,
You could have grabbed.
more specifically, why didn't she have a vocal coach, or an accent coach,
Yeah, I
who
it's
who would
just
have stopped her and said, "Nope, peel it back, peel it. Less is more.
yeah,
Less is
yeah.
more."
I'd say take that gum out of your mouth, girl. What are you doing? That is an
The other
urge, I
change,
swear.
the other change from the novel, actually, I do want to hop in along the lines of what the in the novel, the patriarch of the prince's family is the matriarch, the old queen, and obviously she has passed away. So the substitution of the king for the movie was actually really pleasant. I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed their choice of actor to play him.
I will say that I had a moment where I thought they could have done something that would have probably shocked everyone, but I thought it would have been a lovely touch if the king, played by Stephen Fry, the
Hmm.
illustrious, fabulous icon that he is, um, if the king had, in the last moments just before Nicholas walked out, somehow hinted that in boarding school something may have happened. I thought that would have
Right.
been kind of cool just to subtly put that out there so that the king acknowledges, look, I get it, you know, kind of thing, even if they don't publicly state that.
But
Um,
in the novel, the pushback from the family was even stronger than it was in the movie. And again, spearheaded by
well,
the
yeah, that's the
queen.
firm. That was the one
So,
element I had to really explain to Albert. So people outside of that sphere, he doesn't follow the royal family. He didn't understand. So he said he had problems connecting to the prince's character and what he was going through. And I kind of had to give him context in that so that
mhm.
he could understand why it was so oppressive because all what he saw was entitled white boy, who lives a very lavish life going, oh, poor me. And when I gave him when they took away his phone, when they took away blah blah blah, and took away his sister's phone and her laptop and blah blah blah, they he was he was like, what, huh? And he was really kind of confused by that whole concept. And I
Mhm.
I had to really put it to him that when you're part of the royal family, only in Britain, mind you, because the other monarchies behave completely different. They all have regular jobs and do their shit, but the frickin' Brits are the only ones that are held up in a high tower and away from everybody. So I had to explain to him and give him that context. So there may be some people who watch it who may not connect to Henry quite so much, but just the context is realize that he says it in the very beginning. Prince Henry is owned by the British people and Britain. He does not have a personal life. Even if they want to take a day off, that day off is planned.
Mhm.
So, I mean, and that was something that Albert didn't really understand. And once I explained it to him, he went, oh, okay, now I'm seeing. So there is that issue that some people who don't follow the royal family, don't get what they're about, don't understand the context. They probably will need that primer that it is a very oppressive life. Yes, you live lavishly, but you're basically a gilded bird in a cage. So
Mhm.
but yeah, I really liked it. I thought the banter was really good. The Zara gets the absolute best. I mean, this was Lucille Ball level shit when she goes to the hotel room that Alex and Henry have spent the night together. And by the way, I did throw in a when they were having their lovely little intimate moment, and I did pick up my tea during the reaction. I went, "Oh, look, America is invading Britain."
Shame on you.
And you'll have to watch the reaction to see that. Albert thought it was funny. He got that part. Anyways, when I get to our
Hmm.
numbers,
Sure.
you go first.
Okay. Production quality, I gave it a 4.5. Script screenplay, I gave it a 4, and I only that's colored mostly because I read the novel and I thought there were things they could have included from the novel that just didn't make the cut to the film. Sound lighting score, 4.5. Everything was on point, including the music. I mean, it was all exactly what it needed to be. Art direction costuming, a 5, and that has a lot more to do with the sets. I mean, the costuming was exactly what it needed to be. In the novel, there Prince Henry's a little more dressed up because he is very much a showpiece. And so you got a little of that in the movie. Loved it for that. Casting 4.5. And again, it's more the not that the cast was bad, but I'm like, where were some of the support coaches to help us believe some of the, oh, I don't know, accents? Directing 4.5, and I think just because the director had to make the decision on what to cut and what to keep, and I don't know if I agreed with all of it. Queer themes presented, a 4. This is definitely, very well-to-do white boys, or at least mixed descent boys, but that's really kind of all it focused on. So personal overall 4.5 because it is the fairy tale that we needed, and I think we were long due.
Yeah. Mine are fours across the board, with the exception of casting and directing. And here's why. I think that when you film intimate moments, people think, oh, this is so sexy, so erotic. It is the most unsexy thing you can ever do as an actor. It is all about placement of body parts and camera angles, and you have 30 fucking people in the same room with you as you're butt ass naked doing these intimate moments. Um, and I thought the chemistry between Nicholas and Taylor were absolutely brilliant, spot on. They obviously had a conversation to be on the exact same page with where Henry and Alex were going to go on this journey. I thought that there was no hesitancy. There was a level of commitment to their characters. And Nicholas has done another gay film that we are going to do a reaction to, actually, called Handsome Devil, and that's where I first came across him, was in that movie. And it's kind of a different kind of queer movie because it's a uh, gay buddy movie. It's not a romance in that respect. So it's kind of an interesting film. But that's where I first saw Nicholas. But I really want to give fives to the cast because I think the cast was done very well. They all acquitted themselves beautifully. I kind of reason why I gave production for it was because of the lack of accent coaches and things like that. Although the
Mhm.
British people, unlike the Americans, the British people, we're all Brits. So I mean, they knew how to pronounce their words. Uma got lost
Mhm.
in bumfuckery land in Texas and came up with this weird Tallulah Bankhead drawl that was just bizarre. And she's the one who really kicked me out of the show because every time she said something, I was like, "What are you doing, girl?" But I thought the chemistry between Taylor and Nicholas was amazingly good. They really played and leaned into their roles. They were on the same page with intimacy. They knew exactly how they wanted to go with it. And I thought it was highly believable. So, if anything, I think that that is one of the best. And again, Zara, the character Zara, that actress just nailed it to the wall. This was Lucille Ball level shit. She was definitely kicking ass in that film. I thought Nora's character was kind of eh, she could have been there and she didn't
Yeah.
have to be kind of thing. I almost now want to see what June would have actually contributed, and it probably would have made it a slightly different film. But the
Yeah,
cast,
in the novel, June is very intellectual but emotionally stable, but Nora is the other crusader for freedom, who is used as Alex's like girlfriend when he has nobody to take to things. So they're wonderfully complex characters that just kind of got sidelined because of time.
yeah. So yeah, I mean I love the cast. I thought the cast was really well done. I and for I want to give a 5 for directing, primarily because of the lovely way the texting. It was not just things appearing on a page. They actually tried to do it, where they have one of their conversations on the phone when it's a phone call, and they're both lying in the same bed facing each other, and the way that they evolved that, the way they showed Prince Henry walking in, over text, berating him or hauling Alex over the coals because of some, weird emotional thing that he was emotionally stunted on, and Nicholas was trying to give him some pointers or what have you, rather pointedly. But I thought it was all handled really well. It was far better than what most shows do with texting. So I kind
Mm,
of loved the way that was folded in. I thought it was clever. So I want to give the director kudos for that. But my ultimate is a 4.5, my final summation.
nice.
I think people
All
should
right.
definitely see it. It's really good. And
Go,
I
go with
will
your
give a
dollars.
shout out. I will give a big commendation, whatever. I will give a big shout out to a couple of reaction videos that I've seen posted by straight guys that are watching this and actually reacting to it.
Nice.
And one of them
Nice.
I saw was two straight guys watching it, and they said they thought it was one of their best episodes they'd ever filmed. So
Very
there you
cool.
go. Yeah.
All right, folks. Written on the Edge is produced by Rogue Ravens Media. For our disclaimers, links to social media, our listen stations, or to sign up as a guest, visit www.rotepodcast.com. If you enjoy learning about new artists or hearing our thoughts on entertainment media and news, please like and subscribe so you get the alerts for new episodes. Tune in Friday for our interview. Talk to you then.
I don't know. Charlie Way.
While we're still recording, let me get you my links for the news before I forget. Because you said that
Donnie
they
got
appeared.
recode. Yes, he's been indicted along with 18 of his goons. Girl, we're excited. Use that one. That one's better.
Okay.
Rico. I was giggling to myself. I couldn't wait to share that with you because I'm like the whole time I was watching when they were doing that thing. I'm like, oh, this is actually kind of funny. I could use.
I like it.
Apologies to Barry Manilow.
I mean,
Oh, what's that?
Closing time. The bums rush in melody, dear.